Hello friends. If you want to stay updated on new videos, please subscribe to my channel and support me by liking my videos. Enjoy listening. When I opened my eyes, dawn was just breaking. I immediately got up and got dressed. I made my bed and went to the living room. I had cleaned the house thoroughly last night. Everything smelled fresh. I went straight to the kitchen and started kneading cookie dough. I was buzzing with excitement. I couldn't sit still from anticipation. Because today my twin was coming. I hadn't seen her in ages. Mom passed away when we were little. Then Dad said he was moving to California for work and wanted to leave us with Grandma. He said he couldn't take care of us. I accepted, but my sister, my twin, never wanted that. She clung to Dad's legs and cried. She fought not to be left behind. In the end, Dad left me with Grandma in rural Oregon. He took my sister with him. When Mom was alive, we lived in Seattle. Everything was beautiful there. But when Mom suddenly died, everything fell apart. Now I live with Grandma in rural Oregon. Thank God our town isn't too far from Portland. They built nice houses around us. I went to school here. Made friends. Grandma was very kind-hearted and loving. She was always there for me. Despite our parents' absence, she never let me feel alone. But still, no one can replace your mom and dad. As I grew up, I always supported Grandma. I never left her alone. Today Dad and my sister are coming here. Actually, I had wanted to go with them. I wanted to start a new life, but I didn't want to leave Grandma alone either. Plus, there was someone here I had feelings for. His name was Ethan. I could never leave him. I loved him so much. Dad knew about Ethan. He hadn't said anything negative. He seemed supportive. That made me happy. Grandma liked Ethan too. She always viewed his interest in me positively. She thought he was a good person and would be good for me. Ever since I learned Dad and my sister were coming, I've been beside myself. I was impatiently waiting for this moment. It was happening. They'd be here very soon. I had prepared a beautiful table for them. I hadn't seen either of them in so long. Even though my sister and I are twins, growing up in different places turned us into completely different people. But still, I was very excited to see them. Finally, a car stopped in front of the house. Dad and Lily got out of the car. I immediately ran to them. When Lily saw me, she hugged me tight. We hugged for a long time. We were making up for lost time. Dad came over and hugged us both. "My dear girls, how wonderful to see you together," he said. Grandma couldn't hold back her tears when she saw this scene. We all went inside together and sat at the dining table. That day we talked until evening. We made up for lost time. Dad said, "I'll stay for 2 days and take care of some business. Then I'll go back." Lily immediately said, "Dad, please come back for sure. I miss you so much." When I heard that, something stung inside me. I hadn't seen Dad properly in months. I could barely remember his scent. Sometimes I asked myself, why didn't he take me too? Why did he leave me here? I had asked Grandma this question a few times. She would always say, "Honey, your dad couldn't take care of both of you. That's why he entrusted one of you to me. She didn't want to stay here. You did." Looking at my sister's life, sometimes I envied her. I wished I could be like her too. She could easily get whatever she wanted. I had to struggle for everything. Yes, Dad had always supported me financially. But love, that warmth, his hugs, stroking my hair, that was always missing. I tried to stand on my own 2 feet while staying with Grandma. I never used to think about these things, but as you get older, your perspective changes. For a moment I stopped and got angry at myself. Was I jealous of my sister? No, that couldn't be. Lily loved me very much. I loved her too. Fate had written it this way. There was nothing to be done about it. Maybe when the time came, I would go join them and start a new life, I thought. While I was occupied with these thoughts, Lily suddenly came and hugged my neck. Kissing me on the cheek, she said, "My dear sister, I've missed you so much. Come on, let's go to your room and have some girl talk," and laughed. I stood up and hugged her tight. "Okay, sis, let's go to our room," I said. As soon as we entered the room, she immediately started rummaging through my things. She was the most precious thing in my life. That's why I didn't mind at all when she touched my personal belongings. "Come on, tell me what's going on in your life. How are your days here? Are you bored? Tell me everything. I'm your closest person after all," she said. I started telling her about my daily life, my friends, and life in the village. At that moment, her eye caught the necklace Ethan had given me as a gift. Last year on my birthday, he had bought me a silver necklace. It had an L on it. When Lily saw the necklace, her eyes lit up. "This is so beautiful. Please give it to me," she said. "Honey, I'm sorry. My boyfriend gave it to me." "This boyfriend of yours? You never told me about him. Are you jealous of me or something?" she said. I laughed and said, "No, of course I'm not jealous. I just didn't want to share with anyone until I was sure." Without wasting time, she immediately grabbed my phone. She started scrolling through it herself. She found Ethan's photos. She zoomed in on the screen. She kept zooming in and out. Frankly, her looking so closely made me a bit uncomfortable, but I still didn't say anything. Lily couldn't help herself. "Come on, tell me. Why are you smiling? Who is this handsome guy? Does he love you? Does he value you? When are you getting married?" She started asking questions one after another. I told her everything as it was. That night we talked about Ethan until morning. Lily kept asking questions. Is he in school? Does he work? What does he do? How old is he? I was answering willingly, but I couldn't guess what was going through her mind at that moment. The next morning I wanted to show Lily around town. I'd like to introduce her to a few girlfriends. After we had breakfast, we went out. We walked around town a bit. Then we met up with my friends at a cafe nearby. We all sat and chatted together. That day was very nice. I didn't notice how time flew by. My friends liked Lily. They said she was sweet. I was very happy that my sister got along well with my friends. We gathered up before it got dark and went home. When we entered through the door, Grandma immediately asked, "Girls, where have you been since this morning? You went out for a walk and came back in the evening. Anyway, come sit at the table. Dinner is ready," she said. We washed our hands and sat at the table. We had just started eating when Lily suddenly asked, "Grandma, do you know about Leah's boyfriend?" For a moment my throat tightened. I didn't understand why she was bringing this up now. Maybe Grandma didn't know. I don't know why Lily said that, but Grandma very calmly said, "Yes, dear, I know. I know his family too. They're decent people. God willing, we'll marry our Leah off soon." I liked Grandma's attitude. I smiled slightly. But Lily didn't say anything. Her head was down. She continued eating silently. At the end of the meal, she got up without saying anything. She went straight to my room and closed the door. Grandma looked at me in surprise and said, "What happened? Did you have a fight?" "No, Grandma, what fight?" It's only been 2 days since she got here. Maybe she's tired or something. I don't know, I said. After dinner, I cleaned up. When I finished, I headed to my room. I entered without knocking. When I went in, I saw Lily going through my closet. When she saw me, she continued acting as if nothing had happened. "Lily, come on, let's have some tea," I said. "I don't want any. I'm going to bed early," she said. Then she slammed the closet door shut and lay down on the bed. I really didn't understand what had upset her. I hadn't said anything mean to her. I hadn't done anything to hurt her feelings. She must be annoyed about something else, I thought, and didn't press the issue. I went back to Grandma. I sat with her. We chatted a bit as usual. We drank our tea. After a while, Grandma said, "Honey, I'm going to bed now. Good night," and went to her room. After tidying up, I went to my room. Lily was still awake. She was doing something on her phone. When she noticed me, she immediately turned off her phone and turned her face to the wall. I approached her and said, "Honey, if I hurt you without realizing it, I apologize. But I really don't understand what upset you. Please talk to me." Her eyes were filled with tears. She looked at me and said in a hoarse voice, almost whispering, "You know what? I feel terrible. I'm full inside. I feel so wrong, but I can't tell anyone." "Okay, you can tell me. Please tell me what's wrong," I said. "You know your boyfriend Ethan," she said. "Yes. What about him?" I asked. "Ethan looks a lot like my ex-boyfriend. I lost him in a car accident. I loved him so much. I really valued him. It was the first time in my life I loved someone that much, but after I lost him, it took me a long time to recover. He was my everything," she said and started crying. "Do you have a photo?" "I'd like to see," I said. "Unfortunately, I don't have it with me. Before coming here, I deleted everything related to him. I didn't want to keep his photos on my phone and hurt myself more, but fate, you know. He appeared in front of me again somehow," she said. Then she buried her head and whispered, "Maybe in another body, he came back." I hugged her and said, "Yes, people sometimes look very similar to each other, but believe me, Ethan isn't him. He's my boyfriend. We're even thinking about getting married." Lily held my hands and looked into my eyes. "Sister, I don't know if I have the right to ask you this, but please introduce me to Ethan. Just once. I want to see him in person," she said. "Of course I'll introduce you. But please don't bring this up with him. I don't want him to get confused," I said. Lily said, Okay, don't worry. I promise." "Can we see him tomorrow?" she asked. "Sure, I was going to introduce you tomorrow anyway," I said. She wiped her tears. A slight smile appeared on her face. "Thank you so much, sister. You're my everything," she said, kissed me on the cheek, and lay down on her bed and closed her eyes. "Are you sleeping?" I asked. "Yes. I want tomorrow to come quickly," she whispered. Frankly, what happened didn't sit well with me, but I still felt I needed to stay quiet and watch what would unfold. The next day had arrived. When I opened my eyes, Lily wasn't beside me. She had already gotten up, gotten ready, and was waiting for me. I got out of bed. Still sleepy, I looked at her. "What's going on? Where are you going at this hour?" I asked. "What do you mean where? Today is our big meeting." "Did you forget?" she said excitedly. "Have you lost your mind? I'm going to lose my temper now. I can't just go at the crack of dawn and knock on the guy's door. Let me at least wake up. Let's have breakfast." We'll meet in the afternoon, I said. Lily smiled slightly. Okay, don't get mad. Come on, get up, she said. We did our housework and a few hours later we went out to meet Ethan. Actually, here, in this small town, it wasn't really acceptable for a girl to sit with a guy in public. But Ethan and I always met by the lake near the forest. Today we had to go there again. We arrived a bit early. We sat down and started waiting for Ethan. Before long, Ethan arrived. I introduced him to my sister. They started chatting. But at that moment I realized I had made the biggest mistake of my life. Ethan and Lily started acting a bit too friendly right from the start. This closeness was coming from Lily, and Ethan wasn't objecting to it. I sat in a corner watching them both. This strange energy between them started to bother me. I couldn't stand it. Lily was constantly on her phone. Because she was here, I couldn't properly spend time with Ethan either. A few days later, Dad came too. We all started spending time together. But my head was so confused that I didn't even have time to call Ethan once during the day. Still, I knew he thought about me and loved me. I was sure of that. Dad and Lily stayed with us for a few weeks. During this time, things between Lily and me had gotten better. Everything seemed to be back on track. When it was time for them to leave, I couldn't hold back my tears. I really wanted them to stay with me. I already knew how much I would miss them when they left. Just as they were about to leave, Dad's phone rang. After he answered the phone, he suddenly froze. He dropped his bag and leaned against the wall. Okay, I'll call back, he said and hung up the phone. Grandma said anxiously, "Son, what happened? Why are you like this?" Dad said, his voice trembling, "Mom, the company I work for went bankrupt yesterday." And he fell to his knees. "Honey, don't upset yourself so much. That's life. These things happen," she said. Dad said, avoiding eye contact, "Mom, you don't know. I have a lot of debt. I didn't tell you, but if I can't pay my debt by the end of this month, they'll foreclose on my house. They'll take everything. I don't know what to do. You don't know California." At that moment, we all froze. We didn't know what to say. Silence fell over us. Dad sat a bit longer. Then he suddenly pulled himself together. I don't know what he thought or what came to his mind, but he turned to Lily and said, "Honey, you stay here a while longer. I need to go take care of some business. I promise, once I get everything sorted out, I'll come get you." Lily immediately objected. "No, Dad, I don't want to stay here. I have my friends there, my circle, a life I'm used to. I can't do it here. Please take me with you," she started begging. But Dad was determined. "Honey, I'm not in a position to take you right now. Please understand me. I'll be back as soon as possible. I promise," he said, standing up. He walked quickly out the door and left. A few days after Dad left, the atmosphere in the house had completely changed. Lily had withdrawn into a corner. She was constantly on her phone and wasn't talking to us at all. From time to time she'd go to the kitchen and get herself something to eat. Then she'd return to her room. When I'd say, "Come on, let's go out. Get some fresh air," she'd say, "I don't want to. Leave me alone," and distance herself from me. Of course, during this time I was also calling Ethan, but he wasn't answering my calls. I thought he must be busy with work, so I didn't press too hard. One night when I came to my room to sleep, I saw that Lily was asleep. I quietly approached to cover her when I noticed her phone was still on and someone was constantly texting her. I took the phone and looked at the screen. I couldn't believe my eyes. The person texting her was my boyfriend, Ethan. I immediately took the phone and left the room. I looked at all the messages and calls. Since the day they met, they had been constantly texting and talking. At first, they started just as friends. But later this friendship turned into a romantic relationship. She told him she really liked him and wanted to be with him. Even though Ethan said at first that he loved me and wanted to marry me, Lily had somehow pushed him away from me. By talking badly about me, she had literally turned Ethan against me. At that moment I didn't know what to do. My eyes filled with tears. I forced myself not to cry. I sat on the couch in the living room. I was reading all their messages through tears. In the end, Ethan said he now loved Lily and wanted to be with her. Lily said that after being with him, she would leave this place, and they promised each other. Because I didn't want Lily to know I had read these messages, I quietly took the phone back to the room and put it back. I closed the door quietly and came back to the living room. I spent that night on the couch. All kinds of things were going through my mind. I had loved Ethan so much and I could never risk losing him. Suddenly, a huge feeling of hatred awakened in me. Ethan's betrayal of me had to have consequences. So I waited until morning. In the early hours of the morning, before anyone woke up, I left the house and set out. In the lower village, there was an old woman named Miss Celeste. That woman was a witch. Yes, you heard right. A witch. Even though no one would admit to liking that woman, everyone had gone to see her at least once. Miss Celeste never turned anyone away who came to her door. Good or bad, it didn't matter. She always helped people. While my insides were burning, I couldn't do anything else. My only wish was to get Ethan away from Lily and make him come back to me. Of course, I also wanted Lily to come to her senses. When Miss Celeste saw me at her door, she paused for a moment. "Girl, what is it? What are you doing here at the crack of dawn?" she said. "Miss Celeste, I need your help. Please don't turn me away," I said. "Okay, come in, let's talk," she said. We went inside and sat down. I told her everything that had happened to me. After thinking for a while, she said, "That's how life is. You haven't seen anything yet. You'll see and experience so many things. This is just the beginning. People are very bad. They'll do everything they can to ruin your life. Please help me. My heart is burning. There's a weight in the middle of my chest. I can't breathe," I said. "Don't worry, girl. Ethan will come back to you very soon. And Lily will get what she deserves," she said. She immediately told me the materials needed for this spell. I knew some of them would be hard to find, but no matter what, I wasn't going to back down from this. I discussed everything in detail with Miss Celeste and left. That day, by evening, I had gathered all the materials and also collected a few items belonging to Lily and went back to Miss Celeste's house. After I gave her the materials, I asked when our business would be done. "Don't worry, girl. After 3 nights of prayer, Ethan will come back to you. But no one but you and me should know about this. Otherwise, the spell definitely won't work," she said. "Don't worry, I won't tell anyone," I said and left. 3 days passed. The next morning, Ethan called me. "I'm sorry. I've been neglecting you lately, but I've realized my mistake now. I want to be with you again," he said. "It's okay. I know everything. I forgive you, but if you make such a mistake against me again, I'll never forgive you," I said. Ethan said, "Don't worry, something like this will never happen again." From that day on, our relationship started to get even better than before. Lily, on the other hand, wasn't coming out of her room at all. She said she felt bad. Grandma was constantly giving her medicine and doing everything she could to make her better, but it was useless. One evening after dinner, we both went to our rooms. Lily said she felt tired and exhausted again and lay down on her bed. I also went to my bed and lay down. While I was on my phone, my eyes suddenly caught Lily. She hadn't been looking good these last few days. What I did seemed to be working. She had really withdrawn into herself. She wasn't coming out of her room. She kept saying she was tired and weak. Grandma was lost in thought. Lily suddenly sat up in her bed. She was breathing rapidly. I turned toward her but didn't ask anything. Her eyes were filled with tears. It was as if she wanted to say something, but I acted as if I didn't care. When she noticed this, she didn't say anything. She lay down on her bed, her hands clasped over her chest, her eyes fixed on the ceiling. Her breathing was still irregular. Then she suddenly got up from her bed. She threw the sheet aside and frantically started searching for something inside the bed. As I watched her in this state, I couldn't help but ask, "Have you completely lost your mind? What are you doing?" Stuttering, she said, "No, nothing. Everything's fine." Then she just left the sheet on the floor and left the room. She probably went to the bathroom, I thought, but even though several minutes passed, she didn't come back. Curious, I went after her. As I approached the bathroom door, I heard crying from inside. I slowly opened the door. My eyes froze for a moment. Lily was standing in front of the mirror, looking at herself through tears. Just as I was about to approach her and ask, "What are you doing here?" my eye caught her reflection in the mirror. Her reflection was very different. Her eyes were pitch black. Her mouth was much bigger than normal. There was a strange, frightening expression on her face. Lily was crying, but her reflection in the mirror was smiling. At that moment I didn't know what to do. I slowly grabbed Lily's arm. I tried to pull her away from the mirror. Just then, Lily suddenly turned to me and said something in a language I didn't understand. My body started trembling. I was losing control. I screamed and called for Grandma. At that moment, the mirror in the bathroom suddenly shattered on its own. Lily fainted and fell to the floor. Shortly after, Grandma came running to us. "Girl, what happened? What's wrong with you?" she asked. I still hadn't recovered. Trembling, I said, "Grandma, Lily fainted. The mirror suddenly shattered on its own. Please help. Let's carry her to the living room." Grandma and I took Lily to the living room. We rubbed cologne on her hands. We sprinkled water on her face, but she wasn't coming to. Since it was nighttime, we couldn't go to the doctor. We had to wait until morning. Fortunately, after a while, Lily came to. She said she was tired, didn't feel well, and just wanted to sleep. She quietly left us and went to her room. I was still trembling. What I saw wouldn't leave my mind. Grandma came to me and said, "Girl, tell me. What happened there? Did you have a fight?" But I just said, "No, Grandma, no fight. It's only been 2 days since she got here. Maybe she's upset about something. I don't know." Then I went to my room. Lily was sleeping in her bed. I also quietly got into my bed. I was really scared. When I laid my head on the pillow, there was an indescribable uneasiness inside me. I asked myself why I was experiencing these things. Then I thought to myself, whatever, it will pass eventually, and closed my eyes. But throughout the night I had nonsensical nightmares. I suddenly woke up for no reason. The room was pitch black. Normally the light coming through the window would illuminate the room a bit, but tonight it was as if even the moon had given up on providing light. I slowly got up from my bed and wanted to walk toward the door. Just as I was about to step through the doorway, I suddenly stopped. Because I felt someone's presence in front of me. I took a deep breath and started praying in my head. If I took one more step, I could turn on the light, but I didn't have the courage. I backed up and sat on the edge of the bed. I squinted and waited for my eyes to adjust to the darkness. At that moment, I felt someone approaching my bed from the other side. Involuntarily, I said, "Lily, is that you?" But there was no answer. I slowly got up and headed toward her bed. When I checked with my hand, Lily was in her bed. I turned around and looked at my bed. I saw someone standing there. Even though I couldn't see clearly in the darkness, I clearly noticed movement. For a moment I gathered my courage and turned on the lamp. At that instant, everything suddenly returned to normal. Taking a deep breath, I said, "God, please help me." I went to the kitchen and got a glass of water. On my way back to the room, I saw the light turn off and the door slam shut. I thought to myself, maybe Lily was bothered because I left the light on. Scared, I approached the door. When I went inside, it was dark again, but this time the moonlight was illuminating the room at least a little. Lily was in her bed and looked quite calm. I quietly closed the door and went to my bed. When I laid my head on the pillow, my eyes were still on Lily. I wanted to check if she was awake. Just then, there was a light knock at the door. As if someone was tapping on the door. I slowly sat up and looked at the door. It wasn't possible for Grandma to be awake and knocking on the door at this hour. I started praying again in my head. While I was praying, Lily started laughing. Her voice gave me chills. "Are you awake?" I asked, but she didn't answer. Maybe she's joking with me, I thought. "What you're doing isn't funny at all," I said. But she was still laughing, and with each passing second, the sound was getting louder. My fear was growing. It was as if someone was in the room and whispering something. I was experiencing the most terrifying moment of my life. Though difficult, I tried to pull myself together and stand up. But at that moment, a snake that came out from under my bed jumped on me. Right then, I gathered all my strength and screamed. After my scream, I heard Grandma's voice. She was holding me by the shoulders and shaking me. I opened my eyes. I was still in my room. In my bed. Lily was sleeping in her own bed. Grandma had come to my room because she heard my scream. I looked at the window. It was still night. Outside was dark. Why wasn't this night ending? It was the longest night of my life. I started crying. Grandma was beside me. "Honey, if you want, come with me. Sleep there," she said. "Yes, Grandma, that would be very good," I said. I got up. We went to her room. Her bed was big. It was comfortable and warm. I lay down. I held her hand. Grandma, stroking my hair, said, "I'm here with you, girl. Don't be afraid. I'll say a prayer for you. Everything will pass." She started praying in a calm voice. Grandma's voice calmed me down a bit. I started taking deep breaths, but then I noticed something strange. While Grandma was praying, she started laughing softly. I thought to myself, why is she laughing while praying? Human, half animal. I don't know where they came from or when they entered. I had never seen such creatures in real life or even in the most horrifying movies. I tried to run to the front door, but the door seemed to move away from me with every step I took. Those horrible creatures in the house were coming toward me. At that moment, both Lily's and Grandma's screams had spread throughout the house. I couldn't take it anymore. I fell to my knees. I covered my face with my hands and started crying. I was constantly praying in my head, but it wasn't helping. Finally, I heard the call to prayer from far away. At that moment, everything suddenly stopped. All the terrible sounds around me suddenly ceased. I lifted my head. I looked around. I was kneeling in the middle of the living room. I was about to lose my mind. I got up from where I was and came to my room door. I looked inside. Everything looked normal. Lily was sleeping. Actually, she should have been experiencing these things, but I still didn't understand why I was experiencing them. I went to the bathroom and washed my face. Then I came to the living room and sat on the couch. I leaned my head back. My body felt exhausted from fatigue. I felt as if someone had been beating me all night long. Everything hurt. I didn't know the reason for everything that was happening. It was all because of the spell I had done. I couldn't take it anymore. I had to go to Miss Celeste. I had to break this spell. I waited for the air to lighten a bit. Then I immediately left the house and started walking toward her house. As I walked along the road, I felt as if someone was constantly watching me. I kept turning around, checking my surroundings. Finally, I arrived at Miss Celeste's house. I knocked on the door several times. She opened the door looking sleepy. "Girl, what is it? What are you doing here at this hour?" she said again. "There are things I need to tell you," I said and immediately went inside. I told her everything that had happened to us in detail. Miss Celeste thought for a long time. Then she said, "It's normal for these things to develop this way. Because you had a spell cast on someone from your own blood. And it wasn't a light spell either. However much she's suffering, you'll suffer even more. Now it's your turn, but in the end, you'll get what you want. He'll return to you in the end." I immediately said, "I don't want anything anymore. She's already scared enough. She's learned her lesson. Please break this spell." Miss Celeste opened her eyes wide and looked at me sternly. Then she angrily stood up. "You've lost your mind. I can't break any spell I do. The price is too heavy. There's no turning back from this. If you go to someone else and try to break this spell, all of you in that house will die in one night. And your souls will burn in hellfire forever," she said. When I heard this, I started crying. I fell to my knees and begged her. "Miss Celeste, please, I'm begging you. Save me from this trouble. Save my sister. Save me. I have no one but you," I said. But she wasn't affected at all. Averting her eyes from me, she shouted, "Get up. Get out of here quickly. And never come to this door again. If you come again and bring up this subject, I'll set those entities on you too. You'll never be free from trouble for a lifetime," she said. She slammed the door in my face. I was helpless. I didn't know what to do. As I walked through the streets, there was an indescribable regret inside me. "I did this to myself," I was saying. "I threw my own sister into the fire for a guy. God, forgive me," I begged. Muttering to myself, I returned home. As soon as I stepped through the door, I noticed there was commotion inside. Grandma was running back and forth around the house. "Grandma, what happened? Why are you in such a panic?" I asked. She turned to me. Her eyes were huge. Her face was pale white. "Lily isn't well at all. Foam is coming from her mouth," she said. As soon as I heard this, I ran to the room. Lily was convulsing on the bed. Foam was coming from her mouth. Her eyes were staring blankly. I went to her side and held her hand. "Sister, I'm here. Nothing's going to happen. I'll take you to the doctor." "Please hold on," I said. She held my hand tightly. With difficulty, she looked into my eyes and in a hoarse voice, almost a whisper, she tried to speak, saying, "You did this, you did this. I was stunned. Her words tore my soul apart. No, I didn't do anything. Believe me. I just wanted to help, I murmured, but Lily kept repeating the same sentence. You did this, you did this. Just then, Grandma entered the room with phone in hand. She was talking to the doctor. She was explaining Lily's condition. The person on the phone told her how to perform first aid. We tried to do what they said. Lily calmed down a bit. Then the ambulance came and they immediately took her to the hospital. Grandma went with her too. I wanted to go too, but Grandma didn't allow it. Honey, you stay home. Maybe your dad will come and if he can't find us, he'll worry. Wait here, she said. I was left alone at home. In a devastated state. I leaned against the wall. My heart was shattered. How did we get to this point? How did I become so blind? My mind couldn't comprehend it. After they left, I was alone in the house. That day until evening, I called Grandma many times, but she didn't answer her phone. I wanted to call the hospital where Lily had gone to get information, but the staff member on the phone said, "There's no such patient registered here," and immediately hung up. I was getting more and more worried. Time was passing, it was getting dark, but there was still no news from either Lily or Grandma. I called the hospital a few more times. This time they said, "If you bother us one more time, we'll report you to the police," and slammed the phone down on me. I was writhing in helplessness. I didn't know what to do either. Then it occurred to me to call Dad. At least let me inform him, I thought, but his phone was off too. I couldn't reach him. I quietly sat in a corner. I had no one to talk to, no strength to cry. I was just constantly praying inside. God, please don't let anything bad happen. Please don't let anything happen to my sister, I was begging. Hours were passing. It had long been evening. The house was still empty. No one had come. I couldn't stand being alone anymore. I decided to go to our neighbor Miss Sarah's house. I got up. I put on some clothes. I also took my phone and headed to the door. Just as I was about to leave, my phone rang. It was Grandma calling. "Grandma, where have you been since this morning? Why didn't you answer your phone?" I said. "Don't leave the house. We'll be back soon," Grandma said. "Were you about to go out? How did you know?" I asked, but she didn't answer this question at all. She just hung up the phone. Suddenly, a strange fear came over me. I turned and looked inside the house. Everything was quiet but unsettling. Still, I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't want to stay in the house. I opened the door. I stepped outside. Just then, my phone rang again. Grandma was calling again. I answered. This time her voice was very harsh. "I told you not to leave the house," she yelled. She was literally threatening me. "Grandma, I'm very scared in the house. Please don't talk to me like this. What I've been through these last few days has already worn me down." "Of course, you don't know anything about it," I said, but she cut me off mid-sentence. "Shut your filthy mouth. I know everything. I know very well what kind of shit you've gotten into. You and your sister will both pay for it. There's very little time left," she yelled and hung up. I froze in place. I had understood that the person I was talking to wasn't my grandmother. Suddenly my head started spinning. I tried to stay standing by holding onto the door. Then I heard the TV sound again. I opened my eyes. I found myself inside the house. The TV was on, but the images on the screen were nonsensical and meaningless. The faces of the people talking weren't clear. I could only feel their whispers in the depths of my brain. I slowly went and sat on the couch. My heart was beating so fast I could hear its beats in my ears. I thought I needed to pull myself together a bit and leave the house. If I stayed any longer, I would lose my mind. The sounds from the TV were becoming increasingly more complex. My head was aching, my stomach was churning. I wanted to reach for the remote and turn off the TV, but my hand wouldn't go. I couldn't control anything anymore. The house was literally closing in on me. After a while, the door opened by itself. 2 people entered. They were quietly whispering to each other. I couldn't see who they were, but I was hoping inside that they were Grandma and Lily. They came to my side. One sat on my right, one on my left. They were still talking, but I didn't understand what they were saying. Then my eye caught the mirror on the living room cabinet. I saw the reflection of the people standing behind me in the mirror. At that moment I realized they were neither Grandma nor Lily. They were 2 terrifying, jet-black creatures without faces. With one last bit of courage, I stood up. My teeth were chattering. I headed toward the front door. I opened the door and threw myself outside. I started crying and screaming in the street. But there was no one around. No one heard my voice. At that moment, screams and crying sounds were still coming from inside the house. Even though I had thrown myself outside, Grandma's and Lily's voices were still coming from inside. Was it real or not? I wasn't aware of anything anymore. My connection to reality seemed completely severed. I got up and, holding on to things, crawled away from the house. The church wasn't very far from our house. Gathering what strength I could, I brought myself to the church door. Crying, I started begging God. But there was no one in the church at that hour. I had no strength left to endure. I said one last prayer and closed my eyes. When I opened my eyes, I was in the hospital. Around me were people I didn't know and sounds I'd never heard before. A nurse was standing at my bedside. She immediately turned to those nearby and said, "Call the doctor. The patient has woken up." Shortly after, the doctor came. He examined me and said, "Everything is fine. She's just very exhausted. Still, stay by the patient. I'll come back in a bit," and left the room. It's all over. I'm saved, I thought, but actually, everything was just beginning. Apparently, the person who brought me to the hospital was the priest who came for morning prayer. He had found me unconscious at the door and immediately called an ambulance. Afterwards, he also informed my dad. When Dad came to the hospital, he was unaware of what had happened at home. After learning about my condition, he called Grandma and Lily, but when he couldn't reach them, he went to the house. When he got to the house, he found Lily's lifeless body. Grandma was lying motionless in her bed. After staying in a coma for a long time, she also passed away. After Lily's death, Dad couldn't easily recover, but he tried to stay strong by holding on to me. As for Ethan, I never heard from him again. I don't know what happened to him, and frankly, I don't want to know anymore. According to the autopsy results, Lily had ended her life by taking an overdose of pills. Grandma had gone into a coma due to high blood pressure and diabetes. After staying in a coma for a while at the hospital, she too had closed her eyes to life. Dad asked me many times, "What happened to you that night? What did you experience in that house? Why did you throw yourself at the church door?" But I always gave the same answer, "I don't remember anything. My mind is very confused." Dad said, "I'll never go into that house again. No matter what, I won't step through that door." I had no intention of returning to that house either. Dad took me with him to California. From that day on, my life completely changed. I wiped away everything I had once dreamed of. I had long forgotten Ethan. What happened to Lily wasn't my fault. If she hadn't betrayed me, maybe everything would have been very different. I only really feel sorry for Grandma. Because she was the one who raised me, took care of me, brought me to this age. If she hadn't changed in those final times, what I experienced would have destroyed me even more. I hope she's at peace now. After these events, I never experienced anything strange again. Only sometimes I see Lily in my dreams. She always says to me, "Please forgive me. I looked at your loved one with envy. I seduced him. Please save me." But at this point, there's nothing I can do anymore. This is the first time I'm sharing this story here with you. Maybe I was wrong, maybe I was at fault, I don't know, but there's one thing I'm sure of. No one should judge a life they haven't lived. Only I know what I experienced in those moments, what I felt. Being betrayed, having your dreams and peace taken from you is truly a very heavy thing. May God not make anyone experience it. I hope everything goes well for you. That's all for the story, friends. Thank you for listening. I love you all very much. If you're not yet subscribed to my channel, you can subscribe and turn on notifications to be informed about new videos. See you in new videos. Take care.